Thanks for staying with us. You see, where I want this conversation to go is to help us enlighten our minds to see things in a different way. Because let me give you two scenarios. In a secular world, and you're married to a man, maybe you're very rich, so the man is very rich, and you're a horrible woman. Let's just say that you brought 3 children outside and he's not aware. Excuse me. His siblings know. The man has a lot of money, and you're just a horrible wife. He finally dies, right? In the secular world, everything belongs to you. Horrible or no horrible, right?
Yeah.
Now, if not that same scenario, if it was in Africa, the family of the man, knowing how terrible you are, want to fight to get their brother's property back. Now, looking at it that way, are we accepting the African way of fighting the family, saying, no, this woman does not deserve all this wealth our brother put together because he has siblings who are still trying to go to school. We have other ones who we can help. This woman does not, because these 3 children are not his. She was not there. She just came in maybe after the man had his wealth, and the woman came in maybe 5 years after. So, I mean, let's just find the worst case scenario. So she's coming to reap where she did not sow.
Coming to go deep.
Coming to go. And there's a legal document binding them. So the family now feels that no, I'm sorry, this man has died, just 10 years of marriage. We must take the house back. And as I said, in the secular world, she's not your business. She's the legal wife. She takes it all. In Africa, are we going secular? Or we're saying, listen, we're going to take it back? That's the conversation I want us to have. Because when we are looking away and say, don't go into that marriage because there's a document there. We say, no, we have to, because that man's wealth must go back to the family. So where do we find a middle ground? That's the conversation I want to have, because everybody, every side feels they are justified to get that woman out. The woman says, I am the wife. I will stay here regardless of what you say. The family saying, no, we're not letting you stay here. So where do we find the middle ground? Are we as Africans, must we learn to lick our wounds that the wife, not the wife, let her collect everything. There's nothing we can do about it. Can we lick our wounds and move on as Africans? Or can we say we are going to take back our brother's wealth?
I think at this point we need to start licking our wounds. Because if the man has chosen this woman to be the woman to show him pepper, it's his choice. The money he made is his money. The brothers and the family members should not interfere in the money he has made. If it's family wealth, there's a way they do it. As you are getting into the family, you are made to understand that this is family wealth. This business was inherited from the father. From the father, it's a family business.
There's always a sharing formula.
Exactly, there's a sharing formula. From the beginning, if they want to add you into the sharing formula, they will add you, you have your shares. Even if it's in the local way where it's not about shares and all of that, there's a way they put you in the business. This thing comes to you monthly and all of that. Now our family gets them. There's always a matriarch or a patriarch who is still calling the shots. You know that you don't have a free hand on that. So that handles it. But if it's not family business, it is his personal business. And he has chosen you, the gold digger, you, the Jezebel. He chose you. They did not give him wife. He decided that this is one I want to be showing me shege for the rest of my life. Why are you bothered about it? That's one. Secondly, the entitlement is where I have a problem. Can women and men begin to raise their children to mind what they can give themselves? Don't plan your family in another person's pocket, because that's where it starts happening. You have an elder brother who is doing so well. You, that you are the younger brother, you're not doing as well. You're not even making sure that you want to do as well. You are planning the number of children you want to have because there's an uncle that will pay their fees. There's an uncle that will send them money. There's an uncle that will do this. There's an uncle that will do that. And so when the uncle now goes, you put all your frustration on the wife. That's, you are the one that killed this person, whether the woman killed the person or not. In terms of bringing children from outside, did the man not see that the children were from outside? He saw it. He accepted it. He loved them while he was alive. So why are you fighting what he did not fight when he was alive?
Let me take this call from Ruth. I'll come to you, Dami. Rotimi, thanks for holding you alive.
Good morning, Mariah. Compliment of the season to all.
Compliments to you too.
Thank you. This topic is a very interesting topic. But first of all, in Nigeria, we've always advised couples, especially male, during the pendency of their marriage, the statutory marriage, we have always advised for men and women to always put their will.
Need some volume, please.
Yes. They should always put up their will. It is very, very important. Death can come at any time. Traditionally, in this part of our own world, in Yoruba land, mostly when a man dies, the elders in the family are the ones that decide what actually happens. But once it is a statutory marriage, a marriage that happens in court, that's why you see most ladies of this day, they prefer going through registry instead of the traditional, original marriage. Once there is a will that binds the, what transpires in the man's estate after the demise of the man, the family cannot do such. And mostly, this thing affects ladies. Most of them get carried away by what they enjoy with the man. Advise your man. I, as a woman, can also advise myself and get a lawyer and get a will. It is neither here nor there, because anything can happen to both. Like this senator that died, nobody knows that Senator Ifeanyi Uba will have died. It's a senator, it's a very wealthy man. Nobody heard of his sickness. Just briefly, we just heard his death. There are so many sudden deaths like that. We advise young men, as you are going, once you have a statutory marriage, prepare your will on how your property should be devolved.
Thank you very much, Rotimi. You know, I mean, there's this conversation of obeying the rule of law. You tell our politicians they don't obey. They will tell you to go to EFCC, will call you, remind you to call you, they won't answer. You know, and we see the politicians do that, and we complain, oh, look at them, they never obey. And exactly, we do the same thing. It is a legal document between two adults. The least we as Nigerians can do is respect that document. Now, unfortunately, if it's such that it doesn't benefit you, you just have to leak that. That's my own personal view. However, how therefore, because I know of a family who are legally binded. Unfortunately, the man passed. In fact, she's the third wife. The first wife died, second wife, I think, also died or something like that. So she's the third wife. And the first and second wife, there was no legal documents. It was just traditional marriage. She had been married, I think, 20 years into the marriage, where someone was saying, Auntie, you better go and do this thing documented. Then she was told, and she told the man said, okay, and he was already old. He said, okay, sure, let's just do something. And they did it. Like 10 years after, the man died. Now, the children of the first two wives, they were very convinced that there's no document. So, of course, they came ready to... And they were already doing... And the woman was just smiling. Like, I don't get joker now, all these people. Eventually, when she brought out the document, everybody just rested. Because they knew that there was nothing they could... I mean, they now you had to align. So, there is that.
Some will still contest it.
Some people will still contest it, I know. But you see, again, how do we ensure that Nigerians across board respect the document of legal marriage?
I think that ensuring it will be difficult.
It's hard, yes.
It will be very hard.
Why?
The chances are
we expect our leaders, we expect our politicians too.
People are the enemy of people. It's people that know that this is bush and they will tell you come and pass there. Because they know that they want you to perish as you are going like that. That's it. A lot of all of this, if we look at families, let's look at, okay, the men that passed. Most of them have confidence as their brothers, their nephews, and some of these people. But because some things are not clear to the wife, so when they pass, it's always, oh, he told me this. Oh, she told me that. Oh, this was my brother's final words. Against who? Now, the only person that can contest is gone, way gone, long gone. But now I remember there was this topic about widows that I actually had a lawyer as a guest on one of my shows, and we're actually talking about rights that binds a woman. And she made a statement that when your husband passes, the first person you should call is a lawyer. And I was looking at her like this. Which is true. Logically, secular, it's been the secular word. But you call lawyer first. You are the one that kill him automatically. And guess what? You are just trying to protect your rights because of your... At the end of the day, of course, they will find out. Things will play out. Because the next time that you are probably sitting or seeing the family entirely, you want to have your lawyer beside you so that you know the rules that guide. And if we now bring it back to the type of marriages we choose, maybe now there's more awareness and enlightenment.
No, interestingly, I'll come to you in a second. There was a widow that I advised her because her husband had died. I know the woman. And before the man died, she had cared for this man, let's say, maybe 5, 6 years. The man was sick. And she stayed with him. She cared for him, did everything. And then he passed on. And I think I went to their house the very second day. And she was there looking like a widow. I said, Auntie, clean your eyes.
Immediately.
This is not time. You've already shown that you're a good wife. You've been clean, you've been bathing this man, feeding him for 6 years. You have already, there's no cry you want to cry. I want to show that you're already a widow. We know. Clean it, dress up, look good. What you're going to do, you have to take charge of this house. After the funeral, you can now mourn. You will farabale mourn. Right now, you don't have anything to prove to anybody. Take charge of what's going on. These people they're vultures. They are coming to everything you have. So your eyes must be clear. They need to see you are the general in this place. You are the matriarch. You are the one in charge. As they come in, let them know who's in charge. You call the shots. You tell them what you're doing. Every single thing, they must know who. Because it's not time for money. And we do that in Africa. We want everybody to see us that we are crying. You don't. I mean, yes, if you know for money, you want.
Before you open all your papers don't go. Because people are judgmental.
So, lawyer, as you said, I was going to corroborate what you said, that as a widow, yes, know what is going on. If you are lucky that your spouse was ill before, then you know that the end is imminent. Then you begin to think, because it doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you're thinking of
to
the
be smart.
So, but again, it's a conversation we need to continue to have to educate and enlighten people. So you're not seen as the one that killed your spouse.
I actually agree with Dami, because you cannot erase the African mentality as regards to how they treat widow. You cannot. Yes, I actually like the fact that I see a lot of widows now taking it into their hands and not just relenting and crying. They are taking them to court. They are taking their in-laws to court. No, me and my husband, we built this empire together. You cannot just come from nowhere and take over this empire. I actually like that. But then again, I just want women to know that in as much as we are woke about the law, we should be woke about ourselves. We should be financially stable as a woman, even when you are married to a breadwinner. You talked about being married to a breadwinner. Yes, because if you are married to a breadwinner, everybody's eye will be on the man. Yes. To be honest, whether you like it or not, if you die, their eye will still be on what the man has. Can we know what he has? Give us his car. Give us the land property. Give us this. But for you as a woman, you need to make sure that you hold yourself, guard yourself very well financially, so that when things like this happen, you can be able to get that lawyer, because getting the lawyer is not easy. It's not cheap. You can be able to get that lawyer, and you can be able to sue the family. In as much as I still advocate for women embracing their family, because I've seen it, to be honest, too. I've seen a lot of women, once they get married to the man, they'll be like, oh, it's just this man I got married to. So everything we do, like, you make sure something very important. You said empower every other family member so that they can stop disturbing your...
It's the one that wants to be empowered. Some people don't want to be empowered.
No, to be honest,
do your best.
Do your best. To be honest, so that the weight on your husband will reduce. They will not be looking at their ego eye, or their eye.
And I think
let me take this call from Samsoni. I'll come to you, Dami. Samsoni, thanks for calling. You're live. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost that.
Yeah, so,
and I think that, I just wanted to chip in, and I think that when you are empowering your family member, please,
not just
if you want to empower your brothers so that at least they can give your wife peace, let your wife be aware. A bit of it, even if you don't want to go the length, because a lot of women, I know a woman who, my friend's landlady, I used to go there, was when her husband died, she had to ask each tenant, how much are people paying for rent?
Nice.
And she cared for the man in the last 3 years before he passed. In fact, it was like they said it was spiritual, they have shared the man. So imagine, the woman now, she's lounging from one Omugo to the other, but imagine she suffered with him for the last 3 years, and he couldn't even open his mouth to say, oh, these are the things I have. So some men even still do themselves. They are the weapon fashioned against their wives that made them widows at that point, because some women don't know their length. They don't know their power. You discover that some women don't even know how many properties their husbands have to claim. Then family is that their name. It's not even, they don't even know.
Let me take Adeni, I'll come to you.
Okay, please.
Adeni, thanks for calling. You're live. Adeni, thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah, thank you. Adeni is my name, calling from the sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm so much interested in the topic we are dealing with this morning. I'm a Yoruba person, majorly in Yoruba land. If a man dies and the family that rose up against the wife, know categorically that woman is a bad and useless woman, even when the husband was alive. I have a brother that about 13 years ago, he lost his first wife. He married another one. About 40 years ago now, I lost my brother. Had this been the first wife that was still in the house of my brother, I would be personally feel that woman away if I have that opportunity. But the second woman that was later married to my brother, we were all family. There are some of these women that the moment they come into a man's house, where a man's life, it takes away all the family members. I'm happily married with 3 children. As I'm talking to you now, I'm in my in-law place to come and mark the Christmas with the family. If I had capacity.
Sorry, Adeni, I'm sorry, I can't hear you in the studio. I think maybe our viewers can hear you, but I think I picked up a few things. There was something that struck me when he was talking. You see, there's this perspective that some women come into your life and everything goes down for you. Or it's after this woman came in that her family, she separated her family, we are no more together, she's a bad omen, stuff like that. And because of that, when our brother finally passes on, we take vengeance.
Yes.
Right? That happens. But again, the conversation I like us to have is, even at that, is the respect for adults' decision. So if this, as you said earlier, the man has chosen this Jezebel. He has chosen this witch as himself to be his wife.
Lawful wedded wife.
Lawful wedded wife.
That's how you see it.
Now, so where now she has now scattered the relationship. She has messed up family. That is her own call. Unfortunately, now that he's passed on, do you have a right, therefore, to take back what belongs to your brother? That's my question.
You don't have that right. Maura, let me tell you, sometimes we assume there's love in the family till
tragedies
a situation happens. And then you realize that love you were seeing is fake love. If a woman comes into, I'm talking about a good woman now, leave people that have ulterior motive. A good woman comes into a family and then starts to unearth that, this your brother, the kind of conversations I've heard him say behind you, he doesn't love you. And then you interpret it as a scattering. It's not true love that she met there. Because she meets true love there. There's nothing she can do to separate you people. Your love will stand. I went into a home where I saw true love when I came in. In fact, the love was so much that they were loving me too. They showed me so much love. As I'm thinking for myself, I'm thinking for them. In fact, most of the things that my husband does for his family, I'm the one that used to remind him. Because he will not remember. I'm not, this one, no. Separate this one. This is for mommy. This is for that. Till to any day I call my father-in-law that I need anything, he's running helter-skelter to make sure he makes me happy. Because I came into a family and I saw love. So if I had come into a family where
there was discord,
I come in and I see people plotting against my husband, you think I will keep that love? No. I will separate them. Because I will, first of all, love my husband before I'm loving his mother and his father and his family members. Him first. Then I extend the love that I have for him to other people. So we always assume, I grew up from an extended polygamous family, and I know how this can be. A woman comes in, and what you have been doing to your brother since, she begins to unearth it. She begins to see through. She begins to say, these people don't like you. Protect yourself. Don't go for this meeting. Don't eat this fish. Don't do this, don't do that. And then you start calling her because she's exposing you. You start saying that she's the one scattering the family because she's trying to
separate them further, even though you come in there and see this.
I cannot see somebody that wants to poison my husband and bring it to my house.
Yeah, but what we say is that what is it with there?
Not separating them further, but I'll protect my husband.
No, you can protect him, but then again, you can still call for unity.
No, so listen. If you already have a wicked mind against your brother, there's nothing I can do to change your mind.
But are you a sorcerer? Are you? How would you know the wicked man? Because sometimes, listen, you are absolutely correct.
Yes.
These scenarios exist.
Yes.
But what Uwe is trying to suggest
I grew up in one of the scenarios.
What's Uwe trying to suggest? Some women, their own job also is to mend. You see the discord. Your job can be to be the glue that sticks together to reconcile.
Yeah. So it depends on how deep the discord has gotten. So if, for instance, it's just maybe flimsy things like, the two look person, only you get the money, only in the chop arm. You know those things are coming from somewhere. Then you can now tell your husband that, okay, we have to do this for this person. Please try and settle this person. Please try and do that. If the conversation, especially when it's not one mother that holds them together, if the conversation is now on, now you just sit down for this thing, maybe we come out, and you happen to hear that conversation, Uncle, you cannot come close to my house to eat anything with my husband. Because it's my husband first. I have to protect my husband. And I'm saying this from personal, I grew up into this sort of thing.
Takes me back,
and I knew, hold on, please, let me just add a little. I knew how a particular woman came into the house, one of my stepmothers came into the house, and she was like, what's going on here? Did we kill this man? What's happening? And then it seemed like she was trying to push everybody away. They called her a bad person. Just because of that.
Definitely.
But we knew she was hearing conversations. She was
seeing things, reading between the lines.
Reading between the lines. They still frustrated her and felt she was the one that the family was divided already. She didn't divide the family. So you that are the matriarch, as I'm betting my children now, and I'm telling them, you must look out for your brother, you must look out for your sister, you must... If that love is tight, there's nobody that can come and separate them. There's nobody, because they have real love. The problem will happen is that there's already envy between them.
There's a hole in the fence.
If there's a hole in the fence, somebody
only get wider.
And when you're trying to protect your own, they say you have divided the family, and that's where the frustration is.
Interesting.
So let's work on the love.
I like that angle. It's an interesting,
quite robust.
an angle for us to even to look at, and I think it's important. Also, excuse me, and that part is where, see, my own is the respect for marriages from different parts. But also, I'd like us to also respect our culture. Because part of, aside from the secular world, there's an eye that culture and tradition helps us. They do certain things because they want to protect us in a way that maybe the law cannot. So there are some husbands or women that need that kind of support. So you get an example of a woman who's trying to protect her husband. There's a mother, too, trying to protect her son.
Yeah.
From a wife that she sees that, I want you not to marry this woman. But you have refused. This woman, but we see her as a wicked mother-in-law. So it depends on which lens you choose to look at this from. Because there are different angles. Because people say, I don't want to be a wicked mother-in-law. I've never wanted to be a wicked mother. But I've seen that this is my woman, this is my son, picked a Jezebel. I cannot be alive. And said every single thing my son has, because I know my son, he's a quiet guy, he's lovable, he's a lucky-go fellow, he's fun.
You know, this is an African set.
You know this thing she's saying? I have a true life case. Like the man, he has 5 boys, and there's one of his boys, the wife, they don't mix with her. In fact, he repels him so much when he sees the grandchild from that particular son, and he cannot be that, he cannot connect with her as much as he wanted daughters. Exactly. You understand? But he says because of the wife, I sat with him and I asked him, like, what exactly did she do? He said, no, the choice was just bad for him from the onset, but he chose. Now you are showing 4 others love, you send them on vacation, and you are excluding this one. You are eventually going to
He's
create
not a good
problem.
person as a man.
I said you are eventually going to create problem for them, because after you pass, they will now begin to look at all those things you deprived them of and the things that you gave the other party, and it will begin to form that discord.
So
and you
it
might
goes
not
back to what I'm saying. Respect for choices. You might not like the choice. You might, in fact, it might be a bad choice. You might be totally correct that this is a horrible person. But because he's a grown adult, he has chosen, or she has chosen, can we as Africans, as cultural people, respect people's choices?
We need to start respecting people's choices. Even God gives us that free will. There's good and evil before you. Every day you have to choose which one. And nobody cuts your head for it. As long as you don't fall into the law and all of that, you get your consequences. But you have a right to choose. So let's allow people to choose. Even all this one that she just came into the house 5 years after he has made money. He chose her to come into the house for that 5 years.
What if she used Jazz to take him?
It not concern you. Now he keep himself away if he collect Jazz.
Now he lose guard. He lose guard now.
Now he go chop vegetable by himself. If you take him there,
no.
That's one. That's 5 years or 3 years or 2 years that person came into the house. There's an excitement your brother got from that person being in that space.
Does it need to?
She did her work.
Yeah.
So allow her enjoy her benefits.
We have to wrap up on this topic.
Dividends.
Any comments? Are you not in the house with them? I would just say that for women, especially those that still have their husbands with them, just be smart about it. If your husband is buying property or investing in different things, make sure that your name and your husband's name is there, and make sure that the documents are secured. Very, very secured. And then for you as a person, just try and empower yourself. Try and get yourself involved. I don't want to hear that statement, my husband doesn't want me to work. No. Try and get yourself involved in something and earn money.
No, some people still have my husband don't want me to work, but my own perspective is just that, please, as a woman, don't go in with 100%. Remain 2% for shock absorber, because the person that did not die can happen.
We have to wrap up, because the celebration, we still have to celebrate our viewers. Thank you very much, ladies. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll see if we can give out some gifts to some people. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.